What is good, Life Podcast? What is good, man? Welcome back, man. It is episode 50, bro. Dang, this is crazy, bro. We finally freaking here, bro.
Yeah,
We're finally at
50.
50, bro. This is insane, man. Honestly, instead of asking you like how's your week been, I'm gonna ask you, bro, like, how do you feel about being at episode 50, man, with all we have experienced and
Um,
stuff? Like, what's some good things that, happened for you?
I think I think over the last 50 episodes, I learned a lot for sure. It feels good being able to think about a message for the day, think about like what you want to talk about. Preparing yourself mentally. Giving it, your all kind of, trying to like really spread the right things to people. And this has benefited me in so many ways to be able to reflect, to be able to give myself time and a moment to just think about like life. Um, um, it all started as an idea. It's now bring episode 50. Like I said, I remember the phone call vividly. Yo, bro, let's do this. Let's do this. So it feels good to be where we're at right now. But it's a lot more we can do. A lot more improvement for myself, especially with like the content. I think I got a lockdown on, and that's something I've been like tripping about. But it feels good to be where I'm right now. So just blessed. I guess you could say always blessed, truthfully, honestly. And got to keep going, bro. What about you?
Honestly, bro, first off, I'm grateful that we even started this, man. Grateful that, God gave you the idea to be real, man. So I'm just, happy that we even got started with this, and throughout this whole journey has just been nothing but growth each and every day, to be real. Like, things we learn from the podcast is things I'm starting to use day to day. You get what I'm saying? So, you know, being able to learn things, especially 50 days of this, right? Like, especially to be able to reflect on the amount of
Yeah,
topics that we also talked about too, because it's not even just that we talk about one, we talk about two. Sometimes, it's multiple question with just one topic. You get what I'm saying? So, us having so much to talk about and us being able to get through a lot of this stuff and being able to help others is a blessing to me. I look at it as like, at the end of the day, we're helping others help us at the same time. So this is definitely
sure,
a
for sure.
blessing, and I'm more, so grateful that we got started with this for sure. So yeah. Um.
Sure, for sure. Feels good. Feels good.
So besides that, man, how was your week, bro? How was your week, man? Cooler.
This week is a really good week. Some big news this week. Yeah. So life been good. Actually, this week, like tomorrow, July 1st, I had a realization like, yo, dang, like it's gonna be a full year since I like took my shahada, locked down this life stuff. So I had that like realization week that felt good.
Yeah.
So I made a little game plan for myself to like really push myself these last 30 days because we started off strong, so we end off strong, and then get to the next chapter even stronger, right? So
Facts.
I kind of like set some goals I want to hit for this month. Um, really, oh, I went back to my old job. I went back surfing and stuff. That
Mhm.
was pretty cool. It took a little moment from everything. So this week honestly was a good week. I'm just super excited for July, the month itself. A lot of things to come, a lot of opportunities, and I'm excited, bro. Excited. What about you?
And that's good. For me, man, this past week has just been, I've been spending more time to myself, shall I say? This last week, I've been, you know, not really, cause honestly, I've been wanting to go hoop and be outside a little bit more, but it's been raining a lot, so I've just been in the crib. Yeah, facts. It's been raining a lot, man. So I just been in the crib focusing on me and starting to pick up on my content and stuff like that. But besides that, man, everything's good. Everything is smooth, man. Life is good. Can't complain. I woke up today, bro. I'm saying, got air in my
Right,
lungs today, man. So you know,
facts, that's facts.
life is good, man. That's all I
Yeah.
can say, bro. Life is good, man. This past week
Um,
been good, man. Nothing but blessings, bro, for sure.
yeah, for sure. And like now I want to say like now that June is over with, halftime is done, right? Like, don't get me wrong, we all said 6 months, June, let's lock in this. But like we don't realize like the month of June is really just a month of like preparing yourself for the third and fourth quarter, right? And like we
Hmm.
said, the separation. the separation doesn't happen in halftime because in halftime, everyone is doing what they're doing. The separation happens after halftime, which is third quarter, right? So
Yeah.
July and August is where you win at. The only reason you win in those months is because how you prepare in halftime, right? So this is where your characters reveal. This is where how you prepared yourself in the summer, and those quiet months, those quiet but loud months is revealed at. So July, August, and maybe even the month after that is where you lock in. So I wish everybody the best of luck. If you need any help, reach out. If you need any type
Facts.
of guidance, reach out. Anything like that. Cause it's gonna get real, real hectic. You know what I'm saying?
That's a fact, man.
Yeah.
That's a fact, man. Getting into today's question, bro. First question of the day, man. What does it mean to truly know yourself? Mm.
Woo. What does it mean to truly know yourself? Um,
For you, your
you
opinion.
know, in my opinion, yeah, for sure. It really starts off with like, what do you like to do? I guess you can say, but then that's just like the bare minimum, right?
Yeah.
We all know what we kind of like to do. We all get a feel of things, right? But you always have to dive deeper, right? What gives you those peace? I guess you can say, right? Because whatever gives you peace is where you find yourself at, right? Because it's who you really truly are, and everyone finds peace in different places, but peace isn't forced, right? That's the biggest thing. We don't want to force
Mm.
ourselves into peace, because once you force yourself into peace, it's not true, it's not pure, it's not authentic. So what does it mean to truly know yourself is, you know what is your comfort, where are you most comfortable at, right? And I know we're so big on be uncomfortable, yes, but that's the extent of you know do things to push yourself, right? But you can be comfortable pushing yourself to something that you enjoy, right? You can be comfortable and pushing yourself in something that pleases you, but you're pushing yourself to the point where it's hard, but you enjoy what you're doing, right? I think that makes sense.
Yeah, I get what you're
Um,
saying.
and I think when it comes down to like truly knowing yourself is it's pretty much who are you when everyone is watching, of course, but who are you when no one is watching? And what do you do when you're alone, right? And that's my opinion on that. What about you, bro?
For me, man, what does it truly mean? What does it mean to truly know yourself, man? This can go in many different ways, bro. For me, I feel like what does it truly mean is like you said, like I agree with all the things that you were saying. Like, you know what you like to do, what you don't do. Like, who are you when people's not watching, right? Like, these are all things that fit into like who you are, truly knowing yourself, and you got to get to a point where when you truly know yourself, you'll trust yourself with anything you do. You know what I mean? And that's another form of trusting yourself, right? Like if you can trust yourself to do things, if you can get things done, then you truly start to understand who you really are. You truly start to know who you are by slowly figuring out what things that you do, what things that affect your environment, right? Like if you're a person and the things you like to do affect your environment, right? How can you be at peace? How can you
I like
enjoy
that.
your environment around you, right? And once
Yeah,
you truly start to understand yourself, like your environment and things around you don't necessarily dictate how you move anymore, right? You move off certainty, and knowing yourself is moving off that certainty, knowing what the things that you like to do, right? This is knowing yourself. So it's not, oh, I'm guessing I like to do this, I guess I like to do that. No, it's knowing what
yeah,
you do,
for sure.
knowing the things that you do, knowing who you are, knowing who's above you at that. That's the main thing. Like once you really just
I
involve
like that.
God,
Yeah,
right? Once you involve God, you know who you are because now you know who's above you. You know what things you know the path that he has for you, right? You know he has you here to benefit and help others, right? You know you're here to do what you can on earth to get to heaven, right? And you doing those things, you slowly start to get to know yourself, right? Because God made us in the image of himself. So as we get to know
yeah,
him, we get to know ourselves more. So once you truly get to know him, you start to know him, you start to know yourself, and then you can change from the inside out. And once you change from the inside out, that's when you truly start to be knowing who you are, because now it's like anything that happens on the outside, it doesn't matter, because everything is already on the inside. Everything you built up, everything you grinded hard for, whatever you gave the topics or titles to yourself is all built within, right? It's all inside of you. Like, it's nowhere else. It's not on the outside. So once you build that foundation on the inside, everything on the outside is not going to be as effective. It's not going to hurt you as much. It's not going to be
Sure.
too crazy, because you know yourself now. Now it's like, I truly know myself. I know who I am. I know the things I like to do. I know what I got to do. I know where I'm heading, right? And it takes time. I'm not going to lie, bro. It takes time to get to this point, because a lot of people don't get to the point where they know who's above them, right? They start to think they're above all. And once you think you're above all, you're not knowing yourself. You know what I'm saying? You don't really know yourself. You're taking guesses, right? And you don't want to take a random guess. You rather know truth, right? And which is why the Bibles, the Qurans are in our lives, to know truth, right? And once you know the truth about things around you, and you know the truth about yourself. Once you read, once you lock in, you know what I'm saying? So that's what I'll say for right
I
now,
like
man.
that. I like that. And to like really go along with that, I think like for me when it comes down to like, knowing myself, I'm big on like repenting, right? Like seeking for forgiveness, right? And don't get me wrong,
Oh
right?
yeah, forgive yourself.
I
I didn't
live
even
I
think of that.
live the life of party and this. And like, when I tend to like not fall into those habits, because I would never fall into the habits, I would catch myself, right? Because I know that's not the life I live. I know that's not for me, and I
Yeah,
know that's not me, right? So, I think knowing yourself is always seeking repentance, right? Because if you really truly know yourself, all those bad habits, you break them, but those bad habits is what the devil used to bring you back towards him, right? So, a person who knows themselves is always going to be able to catch that moment of you know I guess you can say, people say in the flesh, but I'm not too really, I don't have too much knowledge on that. But I'm gonna use it this one time, the moment you catch yourself in the flesh or whatever, you seek for repentance. I mean, you seek for forgiveness. And to kind of like go back off what he was saying, I think the biggest thing is, like you said, once you know your creator and once you know your purpose, then you know yourself, right? But it all starts off with knowing your creator, and the only way you know your creator is by reading and gaining knowledge, right? And
hmm
the more knowledge you gain, the more you learn, and then whenever you do anything about learning, the more your mind, the more you get like a dopamine of like, oh, I learned this, I learned this, I learned this, I learned this. And then whenever you're learning something, guess what? Like you start to know something more. And so like the once you start to learn about your creator more, like how you created the clouds, or how you created the heavens, how you created
yeah.
humans, start to be like, oh wow, like dang, I know me now, right? And one big thing I want to add on to when it comes like to knowing yourself is you have to not let other people know. Wait, you have to not let other people decide for you, right? Like a lot
I
of
get what you
times we
mean.
let people make our decisions, make our choices. You don't get to know yourself like that, right? Like let's say for instance, if a group of friends say, "Yo, bro, let's go to this party," but you're not a person who parties, right? So you want to avoid situations like that. You know what I'm saying?
I agree, bro. I agree. That's literally facts, man. That's facts, man. Getting to know yourself is. I feel like as you get older, you slowly start to get to know yourself, but it also can be a point to where you can lose yourself, right? Because some people get older and they lose themselves. Some people get to the point where they feel like they were trying to find themselves when and they probably weren't, and they get to a point where they stop caring, right? You stop caring about yourself, and you kind of just start living for the world, which is what happens with most people. They don't get that time to think about themselves, right? And if you don't get time to truly get to know yourself, how can you you know what I'm saying, do anything, right? Like, if you're not going to take 10 to 20 minutes out your day to get to know yourself, how can you know what I'm saying, get to know somebody else? How can you get to know something new that you want to do, right? And what happens is, so many adults get so stuck in this lifestyle of how they were living, that they forget their true purpose, that they forget why they're really here, they forget who they are. You know what I'm saying? Like, for some people, they work so much they all they know is work and go home, work, sleep, right? They don't even know what they like to do anymore because you ask them what they like to do, man. I don't know. I'll be at work. What you mean?
Yeah,
You feel me? So it's
I
like,
like that.
you get to a point where you kind of you stop knowing yourself, and then you start living for the world, which you know as you get older, you have to, spend more and more time with yourself. I'm not gonna say more and more time. I would say just spend time with yourself. You know what I'm saying? Because a
Yeah,
lot of people don't get to spend that time with themselves. Even if it's 10, 15, 20 minutes out the day to just sit down and just think about your day, think about what you like to do, think about the things that you want to do, what you want to
yeah,
accomplish will go a long way better than just going through every day and just living. You know what I'm saying? Just living every
yeah,
day, not
yeah,
praying, not reading no Bible, no Quran, just living. You start to forget things. Kind of like us in
yeah,
school. When we was in school, when we doing all our schoolwork and stuff like that, we can remember it in the next week. But then 2 3 years later you forget,
remember
you know
that.
what I'm saying, you forget. So it's like you're not reminding yourself, you're not
Yeah,
continue to remind yourself, you're gonna lose that thought, you're gonna lose those feelings that you felt. And this is why they say, like, when you find God, you can lose them. That's why you can lose faith at the end of the day, right? Because it happens throughout time, over time. If you don't continuously, you know if you don't continuously read and get to know your creator, you'll end up coming to a point where you forget about them, and then you get to a point where it's like, dang, what happened? I used to read, and then you stop. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta stay on that where you're reading, stay on that where you're getting to know your creator, because then you'll continue to get to know yourself, and you'll continue to better yourself at the end of the day too. It's not even just about getting to know yourself, you gonna better yourself, because you can know who you
yeah,
are and be in a bad spot, but it's the matter of, do you want to better yourself too? Because you can better yourself as well. You ain't gotta stay, like, say if you was somebody that did bad things, right? You do bad things, but if you want to change, that's doing better, right? That's doing better, and you have to do better to change, because you can't just change only mentally and then not put in no action. You got to change mentally, physically, emotionally. Like, your whole persona got to rechange. Like, you got to rewrite your whole data on certain things that you want to do and
yeah,
you want to better yourself with, because
for
hey
sure.
man,
I like
sometimes it's
that.
that old stuff.
Yeah, and to go along with that, I think the way you like rewire your mind so that you have to have a kid like mindset, right? I think a lot of the times the reason people lose themselves or the reason people like go astray is because they lose that thought, right? They lose that feeling, they lose that imagination, and
Mm,
you don't want to lose that imagination, right? Because once you lose that imagination, you start looking at the world for what it is. You start limiting God, not realizing it though, right? Like you start to
facts.
like put God in a
Pedestal.
in a pedestal, right? Once you lose that imagination, you start to like not think that you can make 50K and start to not think that you can do X, Y, and Z, right? But you got to remember who's doing it for you. But
Yo,
if you lose that imagination, if you lose that thought, all of that goes away. And the reason a lot of it goes away is because we stuck in a pattern, right? We stuck in a work cycle. We stuck in a just waking up this cycle, right? So you always want to kind of always think of a new idea, always keep a open mind, and just always trust the process. I guess you can say.
that's facts. Yeah, you gotta trust the
Yeah,
process, bro. At the end of the day,
yeah.
man. And to get into the next question, bro, what's keeping this generation stuck? Hmm.
Oh, what's keeping this generation stuck? This our generation is stuck because we're lazy, and it sucks to
Ooh, I
say,
like
right?
that.
Like our generation's not. We don't have like the hustler mindset, right? We have the, oh, I wish I had this mindset. We have the oh, how they get it, but I don't got it mindset. So the reason our generation is stuck, we don't use our resources to our advantage, right? We have AI. I swear, if my mom had AI, I would be rich only because she has a hustler. And wait, let me. When I'm saying this, I'm speaking of like general, like me. I'm gonna go get mine. I ain't gonna lie. So I'm speaking on the whole generation. Like if our parents had what we have, as in like the resources, like social media, AI, all these things, they have more of a hustle, go get a mindset, and they're not lazy. So I think for us, our generation is just lazy, and also we rely on people more than we rely on God. Like we rely on the worldly things too much rather than relying on what we really need to rely on. and that's only because we caught up in the wrong things, I guess you could say. So
That's facts.
those are my two biggest things that comes to my mind off the bat. But our generation is just to me it's just lazy. Like I feel like we don't do enough. There's so much we can do, but we don't do it.
I agree, bro. I agree, and that's facts, bro. That's really what's one of the things that's keeping us stuck for real, bro. Like, a lot of people having that mindset, and I was gonna say that too. The mindset thing is what's keeping us stuck, right? Or most people stuck is their mindset. And like you saying, like some people put other people above. And I was telling somebody in my chat today because they were like, "Oh, how can you do this?" And you know what I'm saying? Like, how can I do it like you? And I'm like, bro, you don't need to do it like me. Just be you, but just do it in your
Mhm.
own way, right? Like, we get so stuck on seeing other people. And I think that's the one thing, like our generation, why our generation wouldn't like make it as much if like you said, the back then generation, like our older generations behind us, like our parents, if they had the stuff we had, they would go get it, right? And you know, I agree to a certain extent only because, it's the social media that really ruined the mindset for us. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? It's other people
yeah,
seeing what other people have that make them so lazy. You get what I'm saying? Like our
yeah.
parents, they weren't seeing on their phone, they weren't looking on phones and seeing Bugattis and Lambos and all that. You get what I'm saying? So they had that mindset that they can go get it. So they was just hustling, hustling. And I feel like nowadays, we got everything in front of us on our phone that some people just see it in their face and they don't want to go get it in the real life. You get what I'm saying? So,
Yeah, I
I
like
feel
that.
like we definitely have a lot of people that's, I think, ambitious, but they're just lazy. You know what I'm saying? They don't have no drive. They don't have nothing to kick them to go because, they could just turn on their phone and see what they want, right? Whether they can get it or not, they can just turn on their phone and go see it and go look at it, right? And that's
Yeah.
what most people live for nowadays is that aesthetic to just look at something, right? If they can't, they won't see it till they won't believe it till they see it type John. So it's like,
Mhm.
that mindset keeps us stuck because like you said, bro, they limit God, bro. They limit how much God can do for themselves, for them, right? Because if you keep going, if you keep doing whatever it is that you need to do, if you find a path, find a way, and you get up and you stop being lazy, you won't get stuck, right? You just trust God, and then bro, even if you only like praying, if you praying and then just working towards your stuff, you can't lose like that, bro. How can you
Yeah,
lose when you praying and you doing what you got to do? You know what I'm saying? I feel like
yeah.
nowadays we try to do too much as our generation. We try to do too much and we do
Mhm.
too much in the wrong areas. You know what I'm saying? We
I
do
like
too
that.
much in the wrong areas to the point where it's like the areas that we need the most work in, the areas that we need the most focus in, we don't focus on them
I like
areas.
that.
We get
I like
distracted
that.
by the little things and it takes us off our path. And
Yeah.
that's what I'll say, man. I think
Nah, for
that's what
sure.
keep us
And
stuck.
for sure. And I want to add on to that because I think that's something so big, right? We want money fast. We want money like this. We want money by tomorrow. We want views by tomorrow.
Yeah.
So we do anything to get those views by tomorrow, right? And whenever we do anything to get those money by the views by tomorrow, the easiest way to blow up is by doing something that's wrong. I mean sinful, right? And so we think if I do this, this can happen, or like betting. I'm a victim of it. Feel what I'm saying? I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, he was on
We
that
think, oh, if
better.
I put,
Yeah.
yeah, I was smacking, but it was like it was the wrong way though. Like even though I was making money, it was the wrong way.
Yeah.
We think if we put $200 in, I could easily get $600, right? We think like that rather than saying, you know what? If I wake up during this time, if I pray during this time, if I put this much amount of videos out, if I just watch the motivation video, like do if we feel like the more we do, the more effort we put in, the less likely the outcome is, right? We start thinking, dang, this gonna happen, this gonna happen, rather than we just want it easy, right? We see 200 to 600, let's go get it, right? Rather
Yep.
than saying, if I do all this, I can have a bigger plan at the end of the day. I can have a clear mindset. I can have a clear heart. I can have like big goals and all these things. And I think when it all comes down to it, you're 100% right. It is social media because like we're just influenced. I think our generation, the reason we're
Yeah.
stuck
Highly
is because we're
influenced.
just we're just influenced. So and don't get me wrong, right? You could be influenced by the right people or the wrong people, but most of the time, social media portrays the wrong thing, right? Um, so I think with our generation, we have to find our own way. if you don't find your own way, you're gonna be, you're gonna be stuck, right? You're gonna be stuck looking for answers. You're gonna be stuck looking for what to do, and stuff like that. So our generation is just, we need what's the word? We need more discipline, right? We need more structure, because
Facts.
that's the way it works. That's the way it goes. We have no true structure right now. We have no true discipline. We want everything to be fast. Like, think about it like this, right? Like, think my biggest thing is people who post, even for me, right? I'm gonna say myself, like, I can post like 3, 4 days in a row, and then I go on a cold streak. But it's different for me though, because like my like, I'm gonna say it truthfully, like my goal when it comes on to social media, like I like to just put like the right thing out there as more of like the message, right? I don't want my money to come from social media, so I'm not really in tune to social media, right? Like I do my high ticket sales, right? Like my goal, if, honestly, it was me. Like it's easy for me to delete social media and just disappear from it. The only reason I'm like, I guess I'm active, you can say, is because I truly do want to help people, guide people. So that's where social media goes for me. But like, it's other people who wants to be like some type of content creator, or they want to be some type of like influencer or any way like that. They're not doing enough to be an influencer, but they're watching other influencers do what they're doing. You know what I'm saying? So
Facts.
they're not showing up enough. So I think when it comes down to it, like our generation, we don't show up enough for what we want.
I like that, man. And to add on to that, like that's a very key detail because sometimes it's not even like who you're watching because sometimes you could be watching good stuff, but it's just like
Sure.
the longevity. You don't realize it at the time, but you can be watching a YouTube. Say you watching a YouTuber and they giving you game, but they videos 30 minutes, right? You watch four of those videos, that's 2 hours of your day already and you're not thinking about the time you thinking
Nothing.
about the lesson that you've been learning,
Yep.
which is good, don't get me wrong, but you taking 2 hours, that take 2 hours of your day when reality you probably could have watched one of those videos and then got to doing what you needed to do for another
Yep.
hour and a half, but instead you spent 2 hours watching a whole video or watching multiple videos instead of taking the time that you need for yourself. So I think that's another thing that keeps us stuck because sometimes it's not even necessarily what you're watching because you could be watching something good. It's just how long you on your phone. Like
How long?
how much
Yep.
attention can your phone take from you out of your day? It's something that you have to ask yourself. Like why is my phone taking more attention than me and my own life, right? Like your phone take up some people. They phone take up more time out of their day. They spend more time on their phone than they do enjoying their actual life, right? Enjoy just looking around the
True.
world and stuff like that, bro. And it's really the phones, like
Your screen time, yeah.
screen
Like
time for
pretty much like
real.
I was at a one day I was at a mosque. They had like a big lecture going on, and it was breaking down like the screen time percentages, right? Like they're saying anybody that has 9 and higher screen time, you spend majority of your day on the phone, right? Because the day has 24 hours in it. Part of your day you're sleeping. The other part, like the two ends of the day, you're sleeping, right? So 16 total hours you probably sleep, and then if you have anywhere in a range of 9 hours, 16 plus nine, that's coming up to like 24, right? So if you have anywhere 9 hours of screen time on your phone, like that's horrible. And even like 6 hours of screen time could still be bad. But this when they were talking about it, I had to like put it in like our generation perspective, right? Like a lot of the times the way we make money, the way we produce ourselves, the way we do anything is normally on the phone. So like that's kind of like, where you gotta go 50-50 at. But in my truthful honest opinion, no one should have at least no one should have 9 hours of screen time. Only off the fact that I can tell you're not giving time to yourself. Like you haven't
Yeah,
given a moment to just relax. So if you are a person that has at least 9 hours of screen time on your phone, you might want to do a little bit more journaling. Or even sometimes what it could be is you're not getting enough sleep, right? A lot of the times
mm,
what we like to do is we like to be up at like 3 or 2 in the morning just scrolling, right?
yeah,
Kill that, get some rest, and revise yourself for the next day. Like me, humbly, like my screen time between both my phones is 6 hours, so 3 and 3 between both phones, and that's only because I got to take calls on it, right? So I think our generation big thing is the phone. If we limit our phone to like a certain screen time, like for me, I lock my Instagram after an hour. Like I only get an hour of Instagram a day. so my Instagram automatically locks. Do something like that, or even YouTube, right? Like you said, like sometimes what we think is good for us could really be bad for us, right? So lock YouTube after an hour. Do all these things to like help avoid those big situations.
You know, that's facts, man. I ain't got no more questions. You got any more questions?
No, that's really it, bro. That's nah.
Nah, man. All right, man. This is crazy, bro. Episode four,
So
episode
50,
50. Not 40,
sure. We're
50,
still
man.
50.
But what's your closing words for the day? When we get up out of here.
My closing words for the day, since we coming to July 1st tomorrow. Shit, like who said flight? July? Wait, it's the flight July or is it August? I don't even
Nah, it's
know.
June. It's June.
Whatever.
It's June. You too late.
It's
You too
June.
late.
June flight, my fault. But
Juneteenth.
July. This is where a lot of times this is where you at right now. This is where your identity shows. This is where like separation already happened. Now it's time for you like to show you who you really are. Um, be you. Strive to like just do the right things and stay focused. Um, like I said earlier, reach out for help. Seek for guidance, and like we don't realize it, but this year's coming to an end. Like we're already on the back end of it now. We got a few more months left. So make July and August your best months because once September comes, that's where you really got to step up. That's where you really be you because it's gonna be really hard for the people who was distracted by the summer. It's gonna be really hard for the people who was partying. It's gonna be really hard for all of them. So keep preparing yourself, keep grinding, stay focused, keep doing the right things, and it's all gonna work out.
That's facts, man. My closing words for the day, bro. My bad. But get to know yourselves, man. Get to know yourselves a little bit more than y'all have been. Try a little bit more than you have been trying to get to know yourself. Like he said earlier, bro, journal. Definitely spend some time journaling. If you really do, if you really is on this path to getting to know yourself, man, spend some time journaling. Whether that's 10, 15 minutes out of the day. Usually I say like the lowest one like 10 minutes. But more is good, man. But at least like 10 minutes of just journaling, getting to know yourself, getting to know, the things that you like to do. It's also good to, reflect and, what you've been through, right? Like reflect on past sometimes, reflect on, what growth that you had, man. And at the end of the day, that's what you want to reflect on is growth. Don't reflect on, a sad memory or a bad memory, man. Reflect on something that you can grow from. If it's not something you can't grow from, it's gonna hurt you at the end of the day, bro. So, continue to find ways to grow with yourself, continue to find ways to love yourself and trust yourself more. And man, that's it, man. That's it for me, man. Episode 50. Love y'all boys, man. Y'all boys have a safe one. Bless one, man. Enjoy y'all days.
Sure.
We'll be back Thursday, man. 8 p.m. Eastern time.
8 p.m.
Love
Thursday
y'all
Eastern
boys,
time.
man.
Yes, sir. Catch y'all.
Peace out.